Okay, Lauren, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nice. Well, I'd like to welcome you to the Sawdust to Society podcast. And
Woo.
like we were kind of talking about a little before we got on air, how we had met initially at a VidSummit. VidSummit is just such a powerful conference. I'm a first timer, so that's my first time going, and it really blew me away. But as I understand it, you've actually been multiple times, right?
No, actually, that was my first time at VidSummit, but I do go to a lot of conferences. I don't know, I think I've been like 13 this year alone.
Nice. So you've probably been to like social media marketing world, like all those kind of conferences too.
Yeah, the next big one I've got a few more till the end of the year. One's related to masterminds I'm a part of, so I'll be in like Austin and Tulum. But the next big marketing conference I've got is Traffic Conversions in Las Vegas, which is
Ooh,
in January 2024.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
How does VidSummit stack up to those other ones? Because since you're a professional, I'll say conferencer, how does that stack up?
I collect conference badges the way like marathoners collect medals. I mean, they're stacked. It looks like I have traveled a lot, which I have. How does VidSummit stack up compared to other marketing conferences I've been to? The uniqueness of VidSummit, it's so focused on YouTube and especially from the creator side that I found speakers that I've not seen at other conferences. I found perspectives that were for the individual versus the brand, which was like unparalleled learnings because so much of these bigger conferences I go to are under the assumption that you've got a full team. And a lot of these creators do have teams, but this was also like, hey, I don't need a team. This is what I can do independently on my own, whether that
Mhm.
be my full time or like my professional career. And it was authentic. It was fresh. It was immediate. A lot of the conferences that I do go to have the same circuit of speakers, and like I recognize that I am one of those speakers. But I do find myself hearing a lot of the same content, maybe updated with new numbers. But where VidSummit was so refreshing for me, it was platform specific. It was authentic people all there just to give versus where other conferences I attend are the speakers are there to promote themselves, whether they're selling on stage or not, in a way that I couldn't really see very prevalent at VidSummit. So I loved it. I'm 100% going back if the dates align with next year's schedule. I couldn't commit this early
Mhm.
for something
Oh,
next year.
oh yeah, they already went on and started upselling literally the last like hour of this current conference for 2024. I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at them.
No, I mean it's a really smart play because you offer those that are here the biggest advantage to commit next year. It's just I do speak like I can
Mhm.
like people that hire me, they hire me either to like work with my agency to work with me directly as a consultant or pay me to speak. And so to commit that time slot when there's
Yeah,
January time, I was like, oh,
it's too ambiguous. You don't know what's
yeah,
going to be going on that time next year.
yeah.
Yeah, but I did make a video talking about VidSummit a few weeks ago on my financial
Mm-hmm.
anatomy channel. So I won't get
Mm-hmm.
into it heavily. I'll just link that video in the description for anyone who wants to see it. But one thing I did note is I actually met a Viper, the man about tech, at a VidSummit, and I asked him like, so I'm having this like conflict, right? I want to sit here and listen to these speakers, like on this end, but the networking is powerful on this end. Like, which one should I do? And he directly told me, hey, the speakers are awesome, great presentations, but the real power is in the networking. You can just
Mm-hmm.
watch the replays afterwards. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's a good point. I decided to go ahead and do like 50-50 anyway, because I wanted the experience of sitting down and asking questions to these speakers and just immersing myself. But next
Yeah.
time I go, it might be like 25-75. Like 75%, I might just be hanging out in the hallways, and 25% I'll be in there with the speakers.
I mean, I fully call it LobbyCon. Like there are conferences I go to where I'm not going to listen to any speakers. Like I know it. I know what I'm going for. You can't replay the interactions. So
Nicely put. Nicely put. Plus, I don't think I need to speak about the networking too hard because we met at VidSummit and look at what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Are you kidding? Like, and I met people that were local to me. Like, I'm in Orlando. I'm not saying it's a creative desert whatsoever. But so many individuals from Orlando are not from Orlando, myself included. So it was like, oh, I can have friends that I get to see outside of flying somewhere across the world to interact with them. Amazing.
Right. I mean, you might actually bump into Isaac on the streets, right? There's a chance that could happen.
I can't wait. Like, he doesn't know. I have been creeping his socials and be like, where are you getting boba tea? Like, oh, what are you doing here at boba tea? Oh, strange. Okay, now it's gonna come off as like I'm just a big fan. And it was like, so again, they're like nice human interactions. And it wasn't like other conferences where people feel like, again, they're selling themselves, whether they're on stage. Don't get me wrong, there were a few of those conversations where it was like, hi, nice to meet you. Please buy my shit. Excuse my language, but like, what do you like? Oh my gosh, like, wow. It felt like the Tinder aggressive level of dating, but for networking. And at VidSummit, more or less, I didn't feel that aggression as I have with like other big conferences.
Right. A lot of giving energy. I think Roberto Blake is a good example of this. And there are other people doing this too. But literally for all 3 days, he was literally sitting in the hallways or sitting somewhere where people have access to him. They bump to him like, hey, you're Roberto Blake. And, they be asking these questions about the channels and whatever. And for those of y'all that know Roberto Blake, he charges like $330 just for a 30-minute consultation. But he's sitting there just answering all these questions and basically giving consultations for free. The only difference is you don't have a computer with your channel in front of you. But then again, you can pull your channel up on your phone and he's pretty much giving free audits. And a lot of the speakers just had that giving energy. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, I met even like so kudos to VidSummit. I apologize for like going so heavy into this, but what made that summit one of the best ones I've ever attended was they had an app where you got to take more from the summit than the presentation. Like, it was an in-person experience. And to your like free consults, there were major video editors, there were major characters that are supporting these huge channels that made themselves available and said, let me rip your stuff apart. And like, I do that professionally. Like, I destroy people's egos. And I'm like, let me tell you all the reasons why this is a terrible offer and you're set up to fail. And like, I met with a lawyer for creators, and it was just this so much giving of how can we collaborate versus like, how can we do business together? And I think that was just the authenticity of, these are not, I mean, yes, there are some brands, but these are like actual humans, actual creators still doing the day-to-day. And gosh, now I'm getting FOMO. I miss it already.
Right. Well, hopefully those dates will be available next year for you to attend.
Oh, fingers crossed.
What's up, everyone? What you just watched was a clip from one of the episodes of the Side Hustler Society podcast. So if you're interested in this clip, I encourage you to check out the full episode linked in the description and also on the end screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new and hit that bell notification if you want to be notified when the show comes out. And thumbs up on the video greatly helps. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video.